Centuries after the Great Hyperspace War of 5000 BBY, when the old Sith Empire fell to the Jedi and Republic, a young Force-sensitive human was accepted into the Jedi Academy on Ossus, where he trained under several powerful light-side masters, including Odan Ur, who built the Great Jedi Library, and Patrician, an expert in lightsaber combat. Dreaming all his life of becoming a Jedi Knight, Freedon Nadd was hardworking, focused, and naturally talented, learning rapidly and demonstrating incredible understanding of the Force, with his mental acumen even surpassing his significant physical prowess. Praised by his instructors and standing out amongst his peers, Nadd was certain his efforts would soon pay off, but in private, some of his masters felt one final test was needed to truly understand his level of commitment to light side teachings. Therefore, when it came time to select the next round of Padawans to graduate in 4400 BBY, the Jedi passed over Nadd to see how he dealt with failure. Confused and heartbroken, Nadd sought guidance from Master Patrician, but rather than explain the decision, she ignored him for a time and then refused to reveal their reasons. Her words and attitude, coupled with the crushing of his dream, led to a great surge in anger, which then erupted into accusations that the Masters were hoarding secrets to secure their own power. No longer interested in their opinions, he brazenly declared himself a Jedi, rejecting the authority of the Order. Still refusing to explain anything, Master Tremaine challenged him to a duel, which Nadd gladly accepted, attacking furiously before spotting an opening and swinging down his lightsaber for a final killing blow. Yet just before he struck, it became clear Tremaine was offering no resistance when she flashed him a look that said this was all a test and he failed. Devastated by her death, Nadd quickly came to the conclusion the Jedi were to blame for this entire situation, as toying with his emotions and refusing explanations forced his hand. Vowing vengeance against the Order, he fled the planet and set a course for the old Sith Empire, determined to become the most powerful dark side sorcerer in the galaxy. Though the Empire and its people were gone, Nadd found a number of valuable scrolls, books, and artifacts, like when he traveled to Ossus, where he found the holocron of King Addis, the first Sith pureblood to unify the tribes of Korriban in 28,000 BBY. At some point, Nadd also came across the holocron of Darth Andedu, the immortal God King of Prakith, a Dark Lord of the Old Empire, most famous for discovering essence transfer, an immortality ritual to detach consciousness from a physical body so it could enter another living being or inanimate object to serve as the next host. Eventually, Nadd heard rumors about a powerful being on Yavin 4, and when he landed was attacked by the Massassi worshippers of Naga Sadow, the last Dark Lord of the Old Sith Empire. After defeating many Massassi in battle, he earned their respect and was deemed worthy of an audience with their master. Following his defeat in the Great Hyperspace War and the collapse of his empire, Naga Sadow fled to Yavin 4, where he established a secret base to continue his studies in Sith sorcery and alchemy, experimenting on his Massassi slaves. After extending his life for decades, Sadow believed it might still be possible to bring forth a new Sith Empire, and so placed his increasingly frail body into suspended animation, waiting for the day a worthy apprentice might appear to carry on his legacy. Selecting Freedon Nadd as this apprentice, Sadow taught him everything he knew about the dark side, and when the training was complete, the student recorded all he learned on his own personal holocron. Then, in the tradition of their order, the apprentice killed his master to claim the mantle Dark Lord of the Sith. Settling on the planet Onderon, Nadd used the native population to form a new Sith civilization greatly influenced by the Order's culture and lore. Ruling with an iron fist as King of Aziz, the planet's only city, any who resisted were exiled beyond their protective walls to be devoured by the many wild beasts roaming the land. Yet some of these exiles survived and tamed these creatures to become mighty beast riders, often in conflict with the Naddists of Aziz. Reigning for over a century, news of the Sith King eventually reached the Jedi and Republic, who sent an army to defeat and kill Freedon Nadd. Yet the Dark Lord's consciousness survived the death of his body, possibly through the ritual of essence transfer learned from Andedu, and so roamed Onderon as a Sith spirit, keeping the planet steeped in dark side energy. Though a government was formed, Freedon Nadd's direct descendants ultimately took power and ruled over Aziz. Influencing and using his people, Nadd awaited the day a powerful apprentice might be selected and trained in Sith alchemy so they might create a new, worthy body to host the Dark Lord. Sometime later in 4000 BBY, Nadd believed his descendants, King Omin and Queen Aminoa, might fill this role, yet both ultimately failed to meet his expectations when the Republic learned of their dark side connection and allied with the Beast Riders to depose their government. First, they defeated the Queen and her forces to take control of the planet, before facing a Naddist uprising led by the King and fought by his dark side supporters. Though Omen was eventually defeated and killed, Nadd's spirit mocked the Jedi, explaining that one day they would learn the Sith had emerged victorious. The reason for this confidence was that in the final days of his uprising, the King was introduced to a pair of Force-sensitive royal cousins from the Empress Teta system, seeking knowledge of the dark side. Impressed by their potential, Nadd selected them as the heirs to his legacy, gifting them a number of Sith artifacts before they fled the planet. Unaware of these Sith successors, Jedi Master Arca Jeth and his former apprentice Ulic Qel-Droma led the effort to cleanse Onderon of the dark side, moving the tomb of Freedon Nadd, King Omen, and Queen Aminoa to the wild moon of Duxin. Yet much to the Jedi's surprise, the spirit of Freedon Nadd appeared before Ulic Qel-Droma and ominously prophesied he would one day become a powerful Sith Lord. Studying the knowledge bestowed upon them, Satal and Alima Keto eventually founded the Craft, a secret society where they trained students in the dark side before sending them to fight a holy crusade. At first, this meant staging a coup to depose their parents, thereby taking control of the Empress Teta system, but eventually they went to war with the entire Galactic Republic. Continuing the legacy of Freedon Nadd, the cousins achieved some measure of vengeance for their master when one of their attacks killed a number of influential Jedi, including Master Arca Jeth. With the Sith resurgent and galaxy at war, yet another possible successor to the Dark Lord emerged, when Freedon Nadd appeared before the Jedi Knight Exar Kun, manipulating him into accepting the dark side to train him as an apprentice. Nadd then sent Kun to Korriban and Yavin 4, teaching him the ways of the Sith, but in the end, Exar Kun grew tired of his overbearing master and learned he trained other apprentices who were now rivals to power. Therefore, Kun liberated himself by using a Sith talisman to destroy the Dark Lord's spirit. Enraged by this betrayal, Nadd summoned the last of his power to reach out through the Force, warning the cousins about Exar Kun before declaring Satal, Alima, and the prophesied hero Ulic Qel-Droma as the true heirs to his Sith legacy. Yet despite the warning and his final instructions, Satal was ultimately killed by Qel-Droma, who then began a relationship with Alima Keto. In the end, Exar Kun, Ulic Qel-Droma, and Alima Keto joined forces to wage the Great Sith War of 3996 BBY. Though this war ended in defeat, the Dark Lord's legacy lived on as thousands of years later, Darth Bane sought to reform the Sith Order yet again, finding the holocron of Freedon Nadd. Yet he proved unable to take full advantage of the information, as Bane was not skilled in Sith sorcery. Yet when it came time to train his apprentice Darth Zena, she successfully used the holocron to great effect, mastering ancient arts she used to kill Bane, take leadership of the Order, and continue a 1,000-year campaign, which ultimately ended in Sith victory over the Jedi and Republic. Going on to influence the Sith and galaxy for thousands of years after his death, Freedon Nadd was remembered as one of the most powerful Sith Lords to ever live. A special thanks to all those who contribute to Civilization X, like SithBen24, Edengruir Spicy Sky Frugran, Zong the Black Wolf, and Tio the Iron Banker. If you'd like to help the channel, be sure to give a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and click on the links below, or else go to patreon.com/civilizationx, where you can gain early access to videos, vote on future content, and watch the Patreon-only series, Heroes of Lore and Legend.